You know that feeling when there's one task you absolutely need to do, and instead of doing it, you suddenly become fascinated by everything else? Your room needs cleaning. Your emails suddenly seem urgent. You're checking the weather for a city you don't live in. You're making coffee you didn't even want. And the task itself, the one thing that actually matters, just sits there growing teeth. You keep telling yourself you'll do it in 10 minutes, after this video, after lunch, after you feel more ready. And somehow the entire day slips past while you remain weirdly busy doing everything except the thing that was making you anxious in the first place. If you do this a lot, procrastinate on things you genuinely care about, not random tasks, but the ones that actually matter, it can make you feel lazy, undisciplined, weak, like maybe everyone else got some basic adult operating system you somehow missed. But here's the thing. Nobody tells you. Most chronic procrastination is not laziness, it's avoidance, and more specifically, emotional avoidance, because people tend to imagine procrastination as a time management problem. It often isn't. It's a distress management problem. You are not always delaying the task itself. You are delaying the feeling the task creates in you, the pressure, the uncertainty, the possibility of doing it badly, the quiet fear that once you begin, you'll discover something about yourself you don't want confirmed. That's why people procrastinate on important things far more than easy ones. If it were really about being irresponsible, you'd avoid everything equally. But you don't. You avoid the essay that might expose your limits, the email that could lead to rejection, the project that matters enough to disappoint you, the workout that reminds you how inconsistent you've been, the phone call that carries emotional weight. Psychologists sometimes talk about this in terms of task aversion. Some tasks do not just require effort, they carry emotional friction, and your brain, efficient little machine that it is, does not love emotional friction. It wants relief now. That is where something called temporal discounting comes in. Humans tend to value immediate comfort more than future reward. Finishing the project next week might improve your life, yes, but avoiding discomfort right now feels more urgent to your nervous system. So your brain makes a terrible trade. A small relief now in exchange for a larger problem later. And because the relief is immediate, it gets reinforced. You put the task off, and for a moment, you feel better, lighter, freer. That tiny drop in tension teaches your brain something dangerous. See? Avoidance works. Of course, it doesn't work for long. The task comes back, usually bigger, meaner, more emotionally loaded than before, but by then, the cycle has already strengthened. Now, where it gets more uncomfortable is this. A lot of procrastination is tied not just to fear of effort, but to fear of identity. Some people are not avoiding the task. They're avoiding what the task might say about them. If I start and do badly, what does that mean? If I really try and fail, what excuse do I have left? If I give this my full effort and it still isn't enough, then what? That's why procrastination is so common in perfectionists, which sounds backwards until you really think about it. Perfectionists do not avoid because they do not care. They avoid because they care too much. Starting makes the fantasy vulnerable. The perfect future version of the work can survive untouched in your mind. The moment you begin, reality enters the room, and reality is never flawless. So some people wait, not because they're lazy, but because waiting protects the ideal version for a little longer. No draft means no judgment. No attempt means no visible failure. No action means no proof. But that protection has a cost. Over time, procrastination starts shaping your life in ways that go far beyond productivity. It changes how you see yourself. You begin to distrust your own promises. You say, "I'll do it tonight," and some part of your brain quietly stops believing you. That matters. Because self-trust is built from very small moments of follow-through, and procrastination erodes it one delay at a time. It also changes your relationship with time. Life starts feeling like a series of approaching deadlines, low-grade guilt, and unfinished mental tabs. Even when you're resting, you're not really resting because the task is still there in the background, making the air feel heavier than it should. And then comes the shame, which makes everything worse, because shame does not motivate people nearly as well as they pretend it does. Shame makes tasks feel bigger, harder, more loaded. So now you're not just facing the original task. You're facing the task plus the accumulated weight of having avoided it for 3 days. And that's the trap. You avoid because it feels bad. Then avoidance makes it feel worse. Then you avoid harder. So if you procrastinate a lot, here's the reframe. You are probably not a lazy person. You may be someone who is unusually sensitive to pressure, uncertainty, self-judgment, or emotional risk. Your procrastination may not be a sign that you don't care. It may be a sign that you care so much the task has become psychologically heavy. That doesn't make avoidance harmless. It isn't. But it does make it understandable. Because the real issue is often not discipline. It's the relationship between action and emotion. Some people can feel uncomfortable and begin anyway. Others have nervous systems that treat discomfort like a stop sign. If that's you, the goal is not to become a machine. It's to stop mistaking emotional resistance for a valid reason not to begin. Because a lot of the life you want is hiding behind tasks you keep postponing. If this resonated with you, subscribe. I've got more videos like this coming, and I think you'll probably see yourself in the next one too.